Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. How many businesses claim to be the best or the first to market? A lot, right? And how many want to save the planet or inspire humanity? More than ever. In many cases, those claptrap and aspirational statements are just that. And according to today's guest, they just don't serve the customer. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Roy Osing says if you want to help the environment or be market leader, that's perfectly fine. But amplifying those aspiration-based statements to customers doesn't really help differentiate you from others. Instead, he encourages use of the only statement. For example, we're the only company that offers this solution in this way. It's a powerful statement, and it differentiates you from the competition. Roy Osing is a former company president and entrepreneur with more than 40 years executive leadership experience. He's author of several books, including his latest, Be Different or Be Dead, The Audacious Unheard of Ways I Took a Startup to $1 billion in Sales. Roy Osing tells Chris Ashmore that it's crucial businesses distinguish themselves from the pack. It could make the difference between the life or death of the business.
The reality is, in today's world, there's more competitors and customers wield more power. And so if you can't differentiate yourselves from your competitors, you're on the path to destruction, my friend. That's just it. And unfortunately, when I look around the business environment, there's a lot of businesses that simply are having a lot of difficulty doing it. So sameness kills, being part of the herd kills. You need to be different. You need to figure out a way to stand apart from your competition. Otherwise, you're in for a real rocky road.
Well, you say that aspirations should never be used to define a competitive advantage. What do you mean?
Well, aspirations are kind of like vague and relative to strategic positioning. They're meaningless. Aspirations define intent. They don't define reality. And so when we aspire to something, we are saying that we intend to be something that we're not today. And it's perfectly legitimate for leaders of an organization to define their dream of what they want to look like when they grow up, is kind of the way I describe it. That's what an aspiration is. When I grow up, I want to be a significant contributor to saving the home planet or something like that. That's okay. Right? And so it's used to define the values of the organization, the things that matter like that, okay? The problem is never, ever, ever use it as part of your strategic positioning. That's the point I'm making. Well, competitive advantage is all about defining who you are today in a way that's meaningful to your customers and different from your competitors. And so I look at aspirations as being kind of like they're 10,000-foot helium-filled statements with zero strategic importance at all. Okay, they really are. They do not answer the question, why should I do business with you? I mean, if you tell me that you're aspiring to do something, and then I ask you, well, why should I do business with you? You can't read back to me the aspiration because it's meaningless. It doesn't define who you are. It defines who you want to be. And so I find that there are too many organizations. In fact, I would say most organizations. I'll be bold to say most. Most organizations use aspirations because it makes them feel good. Well, this is not a business about making, leadership in an organization feel good. It's about getting on with the job of creating uniqueness in the marketplace in a way that's compelling and relevant to your customers.
Well, what's an example of one of these aspirational statements?
Yeah, so I'm all about, not being a fan of what I call claptrap. Claptrap involves words like better, best, number one, market leader, and all you need to do is open a book or go on a website and you will find organizations declaring that they are number one or that they're the best or they're better. And the problem is they mean nothing. They don't answer the question, why should I do business with you? Because they're so subjective, right? And so there's a lot of this going on. And let me just give you a couple of examples, right? Your favorite coffee company says they offer the best coffee and espresso drinks for consumers who want premium ingredients and perfection every time. Now here's another one. We work hard every day to make your favorite credit card company the world's most respected service brand. And here's another one. This organization says we're in business to save our home planet. Now, I don't know about you, but, I may like the environment, but when it comes right down to making a choice between competitors, it's not always all that relevant to know that you aspire to save the planet. First of all, I don't believe that it's possible for you individually to save the planet, and I consider that sort of claim bold and arrogant and, quite frankly, narcissistic, right? You need to get down to clear, specific reasons as to why I should choose you, Chris, and not somebody else. And unfortunately, the aspirational statements are used so much. I just go blah, 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 man. That's all it is.
Well, clear statements, what does that mean then? What do you suggest that businesses should say to stand out from their competitors?
Yeah, so I'm critical of aspirational kinds of things, but I do have a solution. And it's called the only statement. I created this tactic many years ago when I was asked to be president of a startup data and internet company in the days that data and internet were just starting. And I was asked to actually take this business. And one of the things that I discovered was we really needed a tool to declare how we're unique in the marketplace. And so I created the only statement. The only statement is really, really simple, Chris. It's not rocket science. It's not found in textbooks anywhere except mine. And it goes like this. We are the only ones who. That's it. And so it's not that we're better or best, but we're the only. And so whenever you look at a statement that says we offer the best coffee, I want to see we offer the only coffee that does something like that, right? Now, the interesting thing about the only statement is it's binary. It either exists or it doesn't. It can be proven. You can decide and prove whether or not whoever is saying it is telling the truth or not. It provides precision to the promise. That's what only does. It drives you down to the very, very specifics of who you are. And it can be measurable, and people can be held accountable. That's what I liked about it. I held my whole organization accountable for components of the only statement that were driving strategic advantage, and that's all we talked about. So you can operationalize this stuff. That's the other. You can't operationalize an aspiration. But the only statement, and you can read my blogs, my books about this stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in there for the listener who wants to learn more. It works. I'm a practitioner, right? I'm not an academic. I've learned how to grow a startup to $1 billion in sales. This stuff is part of my arsenal of weapons to do that. And they work. The only statement is incredibly powerful. It works.
No doubt. Well, if we could stick with that coffee example then. So to finish it off, this is the only coffee that...
I can't imagine the coffee one because I'm not part of their strategic planning process, right? So rather than, because then you're just dealing with possibilities, and that's fine. But here's some real examples that I helped develop for clients. This is a first aid not-for-profit company called St. John Ambulance. They're worldwide, right? St. John Ambulance is the only first aid advocate that provides safety solutions anywhere, anytime. What a powerful statement they came up with. This statement basically says they're not in the business of flogging safety products, it's safety solutions, anywhere, anytime. So any time of the day you need it, anywhere that you need it, they're going to be there. This was liberating for them. They could take a deep breath and their chest would expand, and they started doing things that were truly amazing, and there's not another organization in that business that even came close to them once they had this nailed down. Now, some tried, but unfortunately they couldn't deliver. And let me give you my own personal only statement, okay, because this can be used for individuals too, not just organizations. Quote, Roy Osing is the only author, entrepreneur, and executive leader who delivers practical and proven, audacious, unheard of ways to build high-performing businesses and successful careers. There's absolutely no one else out there that talks about cut the crap, Chris. There's nobody else out there that talks about the only statement. There's nobody else out there that talks about killing dumb rules. There's nobody else out there that talks about hiring for goosebumps. I'm the only one that does that. And you know what? That's the liberation. That's what turns people on. They go, what's goosebumps? Here's an executive talking about goosebumps. Uh-huh. What's that all about? Gotcha.
If you claim you're the only one who does deliver that, or you're the only business that has this, what if another business comes along with exactly what you're offering?
Well, first of all, a couple points. You should always expect that somebody will try to copy you, because don't forget, we live in a copycat world. Yep. Everybody's looking at best practices. Everybody's going on to Google trying to find out what everybody else is doing. Why? Because they're going to copy them, which is ridiculous. We could do a whole show on benchmarking sucks. That's kind of where my thoughts are. So you can always expect to be copied. What a privilege it is for somebody to copy you. That says you are running ahead of the herd. Always be prepared to be copied, okay? So this basically says your only statement is a draft. It's forever a draft. You always need to think about it as a draft that is going to be changeable and revised and tweaked based on changes in the marketplace. For anybody to think that what you do today is permanent is ludicrous. I mean, it's actually disingenuous to think that what we can create today will sustain itself, especially in business with customers and competitors, for a long time. So you put together your only, it's a draft, and you watch how it performs, and you move and shake, through time based on what's going on in the marketplace. But you will always be ahead of everybody else if you get the stake in the ground first and then start to work with it over time.
That's Roy Osing, author of Be Different or Be Dead. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.